Hi, my name is Olivia, and I'm going to be going over a lesson on online disinhibition for high schoolers aged 11 through 12th grade. And I'll be starting that now. Hi, guys. I don't know if any of you have heard of online disinhibition before, but we're going to be talking about that today. I am going to give you a brief definition, go over the two different types of disinhibition, and then I'm also going to be describing a few of the factors that can influence online disinhibition. So, the basic definition for online disinhibition would be the tendency of people to behave differently online than they normally would in real life. Sometimes this could be just being more bold, sometimes this could even be being meaner or even being nicer to others than they normally would. So the first type of disinhibition would be benign. This one is basically just revealing personal information about yourself, which can include secrets, hopes, dreams, fears. This one also includes the being extremely kind or generous option. And this one kind of gives people the attempt to better themselves or even reach self-actualization goals. And this one's definitely the more positive out of the two types. The second one would be toxic disinhibition. This one includes rude language, criticism for others, anger, hatred, even threats against somebody to hurt or harm them. This also includes people going to the dark side of the internet, which could be porn, crime, violence, and basically just going to anything that they would not admit to going to in real life. This one is kind of born out of a place of repetition compulsion. It gives no growth at all. It even hinders growth or pushes it backwards. And also, the lines between these two types can be blurred. You could start out with a benign disinhibition and it become toxic over time, and vice versa. There are a few factors that can influence online disinhibition. The first one of these would be dissociative anonymity. This is when internet users who are relatively anonymous, even if their usernames or emails are displayed, this allows people to only share what they want to share. They can hide or alter their identities, and it creates a separation of someone's online self versus their real life self. It kind of gives them the freedom to speak their mind or do things that they normally would not. And in this process of dissociation, people online feel like they don't have to take responsibility for their behavior online because it's different than who they are in the real world. They kind of compartmentalize these two selves as being different. Another factor would be invisibility. This gives people the courage to go do or say things they normally would not. It's different from regular anonymity because people do not, because people can know a lot about you, but they also don't know really what you look like or who you are and like your normal day-to-day activities. They just know things that you decide to tell them. This allows for aversion, also it can hide reactions. Going along with that, asynchronicity is when someone does not have to deal with someone's immediate reactions to what they say or do. This is kind of like an emotional hit and run where you can just kind of drop this thing on somebody, and then if you don't want to deal with what they have to say or the reaction or response to it, you can go away for a couple hours, a couple of days even, and then come back whenever you're ready to deal with it and deal with it then. Next we have solipsistic introjection. This is when someone kind of imagines their online companion since they don't know them in real life. It kind of feels like you're in a fantasy world, and also you're kind of talking to yourself during this because this person, if you hear their voice in your head through their messages, you're kind of imagining their voice. You're talking to yourself through them. Going along with that also is dissociative imagination. This is kind of like solipsistic introjection. It is a combination of the opportunity to dissociate from what happens online and the psychological process of creating imaginary characters or in a magical dimension. Next, we have minimization of status and authority. This is when someone of authority does not openly admit that they are an authority figure or pretends that they are not, and it kind of creates an equal playing field for everybody, and it makes people more willing to speak up and also act out or do things that they normally wouldn't because there is no authority to come and stop them from doing these things. We also have individual differences and predispositions. Basically, a person can be more intense or less intense and can be more susceptible to disinhibition because of that. I know that for me, I am definitely more introverted, and so online I feel more able to introduce myself to people, talk to people, make friends, even say things online that I normally would not bad things, but just kind of like sharing my feelings more than I would in person. So as we continue through this lesson, if you could just think for yourself, have you ever experienced online disinhibition? Do you think that any of these factors have been real for you? Do you think that you are predisposed to be more susceptible or less susceptible to disinhibition? All of these things are just good to think about as we continue throughout this lesson plan. So today, after I have explained some of these things to you guys, I am going to have 9 of you come up and I'm going to give you a skit to perform. The rest of you guys can guess which one of these types of disinhibition or which of these factors they are, and we will also do a worksheet about it. And then if you guys have any questions about any of those things, I'm always here to answer them. So you can either talk to me in class or email me after, whichever works for you. Thank you.